The directors of the Boston Children's Theater are committed to supporting their young audience's love of reading by creating their favorite characters live on stage. A current example is Fancy Nancy the Musical, based on the wildly popular books by Jane O'Connor. Fancy Nancy the Musical features Nancy and her friends as they perform in their very first stage show. It's my pleasure to welcome back BCT's executive producer, Toby Schine, who directed the show, and Burgess Clark, BCT's executive artistic director. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And this isn't your very first show, right?
No, not my very first show, but...
Neither is his. Okay.
No, not at all.
There seems to be a symbiotic relationship between popular kids' books and musicals that are based on them that benefits both of them. I mean, Fancy Nancy, there's a whole string of Fancy Nancy books. Toby, you directed.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're definitely wildly popular and a terrific book to read for early literacy, because it's Fancy Nancy's love of words that's really the subject of a lot of the stories, and one of the things that we love about her. And as you mentioned in this one, she gets to be in her very, very first play at school with all of her friends.
And she maybe doesn't get the part she wants, but we won't spoil the suspense. It's too traumatic. Now, you guys have, I believe both of you worked in the the music thing in the North Shore, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. And so now you've come and brought a whole level of professionalism that wasn't there in the original Boston Children's Theater. But tell us, for parents that are still unclear, do these shows feature kids, or are the adults, young people playing that, or do you have a mixture of both? Or I know your classes have things with kids, so Burgess, why don't you?
Yes, we kind of have a combination of both. You know, one of our philosophies about BCT is to get exposure to these kids of a life in the theater as early as we can. So we often have all youth casts, but sometimes, like with our other show, Caps for Sale, we have a professional actor that's working with the student cast, and they get an opportunity to work with a working professional actor and be able to pick his brain a little bit about the process and what's unique about a life in the arts.
Now, do you find that, I know many parents bring their kids to those Sesame Street shows and Disney on Ice, but do you find that for many kids, Toby, that your shows are the first ones where they, you know, it's a real play, you know?
We do find that. And a lot of kids come to the theater thinking they're going to see a movie and then are surprised that it's live actors on stage.
People instead of movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think there's always been the special magic, I think, at the Children's Theater that many of the performers are young people. So an audience of 5 to 8-year-olds is seeing actors that aren't much older than them on stage, and it's a really neat way to learn about theater, be connected to theater, and for the audience to feel like it's something they could do.
Now, how about, I assume, obviously, young kids come with their parents. Is this a noisy, typical crowd, or, you know, a responsive crowd to your shows?
I'm always astonished at how riveted the kids are. You know, we think of kids today as being so easily distracted and so overstimulated with social media and such, but in fact, I think it's the experience of seeing a live person in front of them performing that they are absolutely riveted, and the younger they are, we find the more entranced they are.
Yeah, well, I won't get into personal stories, but I know, like, even 2-year-olds brought them to Broadway shows and they sat quietly during the whole thing there, but when they're squirmers elsewhere.
Absolutely.
You guys, how often do you guys do things that are not musicals? I know, you know, an hour-long musical's about, you know, as much concentration as somebody can take. Do you find for the younger ones you can even do straight plays?
Yeah, we do have like the Velveteen Rabbit this year, which is a production we bring back every year, is a straight play but told with puppets, and that is a non-musical that certainly holds the audience very, very well with its own kind of magic.
And last year we did Diary of Anne Frank to commemorate the 70th year of Anne Frank's death. And that was an all-youth cast, but we were doing a very serious topic.
I was going to say, I was interested to read that you first developed this adaptation of the Velveteen Rabbit when you were on the balmy shores of Hawaii, and you brought it here so now you've become a Boston tradition. All right, so let's let parents know, this show is running through the 28th. Where can people find out information? Then we should say it's at the It's in Arlington. Yes, I was surprised you moved around from,
Right. We certainly go where the theaters are. And
available.
We're going to be at the Regent Theater in Arlington. So right in the heart of Arlington. We're very, very happy to be partnered with them during their 100th anniversary, actually.
All right, and so your website is?
Is bostonchildrenstheater.org.
And theater is spelled?
R-E at the end.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for this edition of Neighborhood Network News. Chris Lovett and the rest of the gang will be back here on Monday night. We hope you'll join us then.